Hey everyone, so in my last geometry nodes tutorial, I instanced cubes on a subdivided cube and made a wireframe out of it. In this tutorial, I'm going to take both the instances and the wireframe, join them together, and turn the whole thing into an animation. While I'm working in geometry nodes, I'll be using a lot of shortcuts provided by the Node Wrangler add-on. I've linked a tutorial I did on that up in the top right if you want to check it out. Alright, let's jump in. First up, make sure your object is selected. We're just using the default cube for this. Head over to the modifiers tab and add a new geometry nodes setup. Down at the bottom of the screen, switch your editor type to the geometry node editor. Then go ahead and give yourself a bit more room by dragging that editor a little bigger. Hit N on the keyboard to close the properties panel, then select the geometry node tree and press dot on the numpad to zoom into your selection. Nice. Now you can see what you're working with. Switch your viewport shading over to wireframe mode. Go ahead and add a subdivide mesh node and leave it on the default setting of 1. Add a transform geometry node. We'll use this later to animate our cube. After that, add a join geometry node, which will join the instances together with the wireframe. Now add a mesh to curve node, placing it just after the transform geometry node. After that, add a curve to mesh node and turn on fill caps. Go ahead and switch your viewport back to solid mode. Now create a curve circle node and plug it into the profile curve socket. You'll notice the curved circles are pretty huge at this point. Bring down the radius of the curved circle until it looks right. So we can later add a material to the wireframe. Go ahead and add a set material node. We'll now instance cubes on the points at an instance on points node. Take the output from the transform geometry node and plug it into the point socket. Then take its output and connect it to the join geometry node. Add a cube node and connect it into the instance socket. Scale down the cubes because they're too large. Duplicate the set material node and drop the duplicate onto the instance's connection. Go to the Material tab and change the default name to something like Wire. Change the color and drop the roughness down. We haven't set up our render settings yet, but we'll set a viewport color for this material. Scroll down to viewport display and change the color there. Up at the top, click the plus, then new to create a new material. Rename it to glass. Drop the roughness to something very low. Then open up transmission and set the weight to 1 for full glass. Again, go ahead and change the viewport color. Now in both set material nodes, select the correct materials from the list. Let's do a little cleanup using Node Wrangler. Select the nodes you want to group and press Shift plus P to wrap the selected nodes in a frame. Select the 3 nodes that make up the instance section, hit the shortcut, then press F2 to rename the frame. Do the same for the wireframe section and the main section. This keeps your node tree modular and nice and tidy. Now let's make a simple animation. Move your mouse to the bottom of the screen. When you see the double arrow, right click and select horizontal split. Drag the new window up, then change the editor type to the timeline. Make sure you're on frame 1. Hover your mouse over the transform geometry rotation and press I to set a keyframe. Then do the same for the instance rotation and scale. Hover over each one and press I. Now jump to your end frame, change the scale and rotation of the instances, and set a keyframe. Then head over to the transform geometry, change the rotation, and set a keyframe there too. Hit spacebar to play your animation and see what it looks like. When you're done, move to the top right of the separator and make a new vertical split. Drag it over to the left. With your mouse hovering in that new window on the left, press numpad 0 to jump into camera view. Open the render tab, change the render engine to cycles, and if you've got a GPU, set the device to GPU compute, set viewport max samples to 20, and render max to 300. Scroll down to color management and set the look to very high contrast. Now head into the world settings. Click the yellow dot and from the list select environment texture. Click open and grab your HDRI file. Back in the window on the left, turn off any panels, gizmos and overlays, then set the shading to rendered. You'll see the full HDRI showing, but we only want the light from it, not the background. So go into the render tab, open film, and turn on transparent. And just like that, the background is gone. Before we render the video, we're going to render a single image first. This will be used in the compositing step. Once the image is rendered, close it and head over to the compositing tab. In here, check use nodes. Make some space to work with, then press V to zoom out a bit. Make an alpha over node. Plug our image into the bottom image socket and change the color to gray. Now make an ellipse mask node. Shift plus Control plus left click on it to add a viewer node, another handy node wrangler shortcut. Adjust the size of the mask to taste. Next, make a blur node and drop it in before the viewer. change the blur type to fast Gaussian, and bump the size up to around 950. Now make a second alpha over node. Take the blur output and plug it into the factor, then take the output from the first alpha over and plug it into the bottom image socket on the new alpha over. View it and change the color to dark gray. For the viewer node, add an exposure node and just bump up the exposure a little. Take its output and also plug it into the composite node. Now head back to the layout tab on the left next to the rendered view, click the little arrow, and here under compositor select always, and that's it. You're done. If you're happy with how everything looks, save your project and render the video. And that's a wrap on this tutorial on combining instances with a curve wireframe and geometry nodes to make an animation. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments. I'm always happy to help. And if you have any tips or feedback, I'd love to hear that too. I'm always looking for ways to make these tutorials better for you. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and feel free to share your projects with me there. I love seeing what you create. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Blender tutorials.